them for the reason that it's not just, it's different from a lot of other competitions I do. A lot of science, obviously, you put a lot of your work into it. You put a lot of hours of research, a lot of your hours of dedication, and hoping that the results come out how you want it, and being able to impress the judges and say, look, this is what I did. But pageants are different in the way that it's not just a matter of, I guess you could say, like research, but rather really finding who you are and transforming into a really young, confident young woman. Before, I don't want to say that I didn't have any confidence, but I can say I didn't have the confidence that I have now. A lot of my confidence was based on my achievements, and it wasn't really until a couple months ago when I started my first job, when my boss was saying, why don't you smile more? I work in food service, you're supposed to bring customers in, you need to smile more. And I was saying, this is a job, I don't want to smile. Why do I need to smile? Come on, people come in here for food, I don't need to give them, not service, but I don't need to give them a smile. And he was telling me, don't you have confidence? And just all these other things, and it was so difficult. It was the second week of my first job, and I was saying, I don't really need this job anymore. But it has helped though a lot of ways. And so going through this experience, it really made me realize that confidence is within, and to love yourself, obviously you need to love yourself before you love others. But you need that confidence and not arrogance. That's another thing. And so by doing this pageant, a lot of Sundays were missed at me thought in order to go to these practices, in order to listen to these interviews, because I'm not sure if a lot of people realize, but it is so much more than just walking across the stage in your bikini and like 3 or 4 high heel shoes on, saying, look at me, woo! It's so much more. There's a lot of paperwork that's involved, there's a lot of resume writing, a lot of essay writing, and then having a 10-minute interview, and obviously, based on other competitions, talking to people and presenting myself isn't that hard, but it's different when it's having 10 piercing eyes looking to your soul and saying, well, why do you want this position? Are you sure you're ready for this? And so it's a different experience, to say the least. And then having the actual pageant night, having those nerves, having those months of practice, and having those endless nights with my mom saying, no, that's not how you do it. You need to place your foot right there. Come on, Gwen, don't you know how to do this? And just realizing, how much you really want it. And that can be applied to life in general. It's really what you want in life. Nothing comes easy, but it's really what, if you want it, then you'll work hard for it. And good things come to good people. And so I just remember the pageant night, my nerves were bowling, and just remembering everything that I worked up to and really putting everything into it. And the moment that they called my name, I just remember smiling and saying, did they call a name? Then I remember having my one good friend that was in there, Rebecca Millsberg, because we're all holding hands, right? We're like, yeah, we're sisters, no matter what. Ooh, I don't know what it is. And she was like, Gwen, come on, go. You won. And I was like, what? Huh? And then everyone's like, yeah, Gwen, go. And some people were they were amazed. And I was amazed. And just walking down, and I was so happy I didn't fall, actually. But I didn't fall, and I just remember crying. And it was that typical Miss America moment of tears streaming down my face and saying, oh my goodness, is this really happening? And then it was the next day, waking up at 7 a.m. Of course, I didn't go to bed until, 4 or 5 a.m. because I was so excited, calling everyone, oh my goodness, I won! And everyone, and throughout this entire experience, even though it's only been 2 months, pretty much everyone that I've talked to, the first thing that they always say is, God, you're so beautiful. No, you're so deserving. You're so deserving of this, and I'm really glad that you're you're our Miss Kona Coffee for this year. And it made me really realize that Miss Kona Coffee, again, scholarship pageant, not beauty pageant, but it isn't just a pretty face, but it's, like I said, a young, confident young woman who is not only intelligent through smarts, through book smarts, but also wanting to help her community in such a wonderful way. And as the 4 points of the crown go, style, success, scholarship, and service. You can really want to have the pageant answer. You know, and obviously for world peace too.
I'm gonna remember that.
But like I said, it's an amazing experience, and really reflecting on my life. And thank you for this opportunity. It's life changing, and just realizing how much you really go through and how much that crowning moment really is. Through many different adversities, overcoming them and not dwelling on them, but rather, I guess you could say, blossoming and becoming a butterfly rather than a caterpillar. It's amazing. It's an awesome experience. And so, any questions? Yeah?
I want to know a little bit more about the 10 minutes of questions.
10 minutes of
Or
questions.
whatever it was that they asked.
The
you.
interview.
Yeah.
So the interview process, it's quite difficult actually. It's not the typical like on-stage questioning where it's like, let's say, well, what do you want to see in the world? World peace. The end of world hunger. No, it's not like that whatsoever. You have to resume because the position that you're applying for, it truly is a job. It's not I want to say it is a scholarship, but I cannot say how many hours I've actually put into this afterwards, and it's been crazy. I would never think it would be this many hours of wearing this crown and always smiling and looking, appropriate, which isn't that bad, but taking away from personal life and everything, you need a mature person. And so part of the interview is making sure, are you ready for that? Because every contestant in there, I can tell you, they probably would have done a wonderful job as Miss Kona Coffee as well. But I'm not saying any names, obviously, but some of it it's also about maturity. And so the 10 minutes of question is really seeing if you're prepared for what you need to accept as this position, and really getting to know who you are in this little amount of time. And really, they say it's 10 minutes long, but honestly, if you subtract how many minutes they actually ask you for questions, it seriously feels like it's only 6 minutes that you ever really get to talk and say, so here I am, and you gotta love it. If you don't, oh well. And just presenting you in that fashion.
How many other contestants were there?
From what I've been told, this year has actually been the biggest the largest amount of contestants. There was a total of 7 other beautiful young ladies to compete with.
Specifically representing different high schools, or not necessarily?
No, just it's not a representation of high schools or different parts of the community. It's a representation of being an individual, but also your family. And through the pageant, I really realized that you are not only representing this little portion of Kona Coffee, but you're really representing the Big Island, and you're representing your home and the people that you interact with in the grocery store. I mean, I have to say, working in the restaurant, it's pretty funny. I'll be saying, okay, so this is your total, and this is like, just the other day, this old lady, she was like looking at me, and she said, you look just like the Miss Kona Coffee. She has really blonde hair, and she was in the Christmas parade, and she wore this beautiful green dress, and I was saying, yeah, thank you, I know. And she's like, yeah, no, I mean, are you guys cousins? I was like, no, I'm Miss Kona Coffee. And she was saying, what? And what? And so it's nice because it's realizing that you're not just this person, you're not a mold that they're trying to look for either. The interview is not about finding that mold, finding that perfect girl to fit in this box, but rather who is the girl that can wear the crown and reflect it off the most? Because all the crown is and all this banner is, I'm not Miss Kona Coffee that's Guinevere Davenport. I'm Guinevere Davenport that's Miss Kona Coffee, and I'm staying true to who I am. And all the crown does is really show off who I am and show off my community. And so upon going to Miss Hawaii, yes, I will be representing Big Island in that respect, but I'm still representing who I am as an individual, and I'm representing who my community is too. And so that's pretty exciting.
When is the Miss Hawaii pageant?
Miss Hawaii is the first weekend of June. I believe it's June 3rd, I'm pretty sure. You can Google it, it's online already. And so from there, it's a lot of preparation. I mean, I got my critiques from my judges, and it was wonderful. I mean, I would never expect my critiques to be, in a way, I guess you could say, that positive. And obviously things need to change, but having them tell me, and the judges that were there, they weren't just community members who, like for instance, own KTA or something. These are judges of past or present Miss America organizations, and I remember one of them scared the crap out of me. But what made me realize and what kept me going throughout the pageant night is because you have to look at them and obviously exchange your energy. Just like as a musician, you exchange that energy and you exchange your heart space with them. And I just remember looking at all my judges and all of them just giving me that piercing, looking into my soul and everything on pageant night. And they're there to intimidate you and just make sure that you're not going to crack. And I remember looking at this one that really kind of scared me during my interview. And then on pageant night I realized, just because of different characteristics, and I don't know how familiar you guys are, but I am a devoted Pokemon player. And so this judge kind of looked like a Pokemon to me, and so I just remember saying, "Okay, Pikachu, go!" And so, it's applying humor and just realizing there's so many other things. And so, like I said, it's staying true to yourself. But these judges, they're terrifying. But you use different tools to make it better. And so, upon going to Miss Hawaii, there's a lot of different things that I don't really necessarily need to change, but just different aspects, minor changes that are doable. And so I have a couple months, and I'm really realizing that I don't just want it for the scholarship like I did before, but I really do want the title. I want to be able to represent not only my little small town community, but my entire state, because it's important. Without these different experiences, without going to Oahu for various reasons, I wouldn't be the person who I am today without it. And so I hope by the time that I can go there, I'm able to do what I want to do. And I hope that they'll be able to see that as well. And so, yeah. Yes?
Do you have to travel more now to represent Kona Coffee, or
Actually,
more demands on your time? Or?
Part of the award that I received besides the scholarship is this was founded by Hiroshima Coffee Company. And so because it is Miss Kona Coffee, I actually have the chance to go to Japan for 5 days representing Kona Coffee and representing the industry, and hopefully bringing Japanese tourism to come over here and really experience Hawaii in the way that we experience Hawaii every single day. And so it's a once in a lifetime experience, and I would have never ever imagined that I would be able to go to Japan. Thank you. Yes?
I was wondering if will they be providing polishing training beyond moms training?
There is some training that's going to be involved. Right now it's a lot of work on sponsorships and different aspects, like for instance, like fitness training and everything like that. But really, it's thank you. But really, it's training on how we did with Miss Kona Coffee, of really bringing the upbringing to how badly you want it and how many hours you really put into it and dedication and enhancing it, to say the least.
I see Pasha has a book called Japanese. Is she now your Japanese teacher? Do you give out French?
Actually, part of, funny enough that you asked, not only the first semester is French, but then the second semester was Japanese, and so it's been a wonderful experience remembering a lot of that Japanese. And then where I work in a restaurant. Like I said before, we have a lot of Japanese tourists that come over, and we have a little Japanese menu, but no one else in my work for some reason. I mean, I understand we have the menu to help them, but no one else speaks Japanese, so it's kind of useless in my opinion when they're saying, "Oh, can I have this in Japanese?" and you're like, "What?" And so it's been really cool for me to regain the Japanese knowledge, and so I have been brushing up on my skills, and so hopefully in Japan I'll be able to conversate without saying something inappropriate.
When are you going?
I should be going I think it's the second, it should be after Miss Hawaii, but it really depends on their festivals, and so it depends. Yeah?
So Gwen, I wanted to ask you, I know that you're very spiritually attuned and you're going into the science field, and so I'm sure that you probably have some ideas on bridging that, and I would like to hear some of that.
Well, becoming a general surgeon, I've already kind of realized, for obvious reasons, it's going to be really difficult to want to rely on alternative medicine, especially for what I want to do. I don't necessarily want to become an emergency physician, but I do want to become a general physician, and so there's going to be a lot of different, ironically, like 100-pound tumors to remove, and so it's going to be difficult to bring in that alternative medicine, but I can say that I will always, for the problems that I know can be fixed with simple fixes, I will always rely to that first, because it is so important to remain organic and to really rely on what Mother Earth gives to us already that we sometimes ignore. And so in addition to that, like every day with my mom being in the hospital, every single day I would always pray, and I would always say thank you. And so hopefully when I have my career, I'll be able to carry that with me, and regardless of who I will be helping out that day or particular hour, I will always exchange my energy into them, and having that exchange of energy, that spiritual heart energy, I feel will really help. And honestly, I mean, thank you to all the doctors in the world too, but I really honestly think the person who really made a difference was him up there. That, and
We need your first patients.
one other thing though, one other thing I want to bring up since I'm on this topic is thank you to anyone who has given me blood donations, because just a little amount of blood that you give, it really does make a difference. My mom had 28 pints of blood given to her, and without that, she wouldn't have survived. So thank you to anyone who has given blood once in their life. I want to remind you can't give blood again. I know it's kind of painful, it's a needle, and so a lot of people are scared of it, but you're saving a life when you do it. You're saving a unit, you're saving a community. So one last question, because I think we're almost done.
Do you have more offers for speaking engagements now that you've got this title?
Speaking engagements, I guess you could say technically yes, but as of right now, it's just been a lot of appearances, and I've been able to do some speaking, but nothing like this, not having the ability really to exchange who I am and really giving who I am as a person, not as a title. And so hopefully in the future I will be able to. I'm making a lot of differences so far. Part of having a title is you need a platform, and a platform is giving back to your community or bringing awareness to something. So mine was mentoring to science, for science needs. I do a lot of mentoring in my community, and obviously, as you guys all know, I'm a nerd. And so I wanted to really represent that in the pageant. And so what I'm doing now is still doing what I already guys do, but also encouraging others to, if you have that time, donate it to